I'm working on a series of articles and corresponding videos where I revisit topics from my old newsletters and give them a fresh update. Today, we're going to be talking about parent-child attachment relationships. Parenting is complicated business these days. You can find literally thousands of books, experts, and professionals telling parents how to do their job. And each one offers some technique or tool that promises to unlock the secrets of perfect parenting strategy. And yet, we have higher rates of teen anxiety and depression than ever before. So how do we account for this paradox? How is it that parents have become so insecure in their ability to raise healthy children that they feel inclined to outsource this task to therapists? And when they do, things don't seem to be getting much better for kids or families. Now, I know there's a bit of irony here since I'm an adolescent therapist questioning our cultural reliance on adolescent therapists. But I found myself puzzled by this strange contradiction. We have more parenting resources than ever before, yet parents feel increasingly ill-equipped to deal with the behavior and development of their kids. There are many ways in which I think therapy can be a helpful supplement to family support, but there are many more tasks that can't be outsourced to clinicians. And when I think about the hundreds of families that I've worked with, the ones who seem to be doing best are the ones in which kids have a close and intimate relationship with their parents. And it doesn't seem to be correlated with parental love or effort. Even devoted parents who sacrifice and toil for their children relentlessly can still struggle to keep kids connected. And furthermore, it seems to be less about what you do for them and more about how you are with them. How you are with your child and how your child is with you. This is called attachment, and it's a necessary, fundamental, and natural order of the parent-child relationship. Attachment is what has allowed human families to raise healthy kids for thousands of years before PhDs, researchers, or parenting experts were even part of the picture. Societies were structured around this natural hierarchy of parent and child, and cultures have traditionally fostered this important attachment dynamic. Now look, I'm not talking about coercion, abusive tactics, or manipulation here. I know that some cultures prioritize conformity, make it the norm, and then sometimes the family unit can be used to enforce this in harsh ways. That's not what I'm talking about. Here I'm talking about the necessary bond between parent and child, which we've always relied on to keep kids safe and give them their best shot at a good life. Today's culture has become really alienated from the need for this deeply rooted parent-child attachment, and we see kids kind of slipping away. As this deep connection starts to unravel between parents and kids who need to attach to something, they become increasingly dependent on things like peer groups, digital media, or even identity groups and ideology. In thinking about these issues, I've also realized that some of the advice that I offer to parents, whether it's in individual consultations or through my membership group, seem to really help certain families and make little impact with others. There are probably lots of reasons for this, but one distinguishing feature seems to be the varying rootedness of attachment. When parents and kids are closely attached, kids actually want to open up to their parents, share their secrets, and get help from their parents. Kids who are detached, though, interpret even the most neutral offer to help as some sort of affront to their personhood. And simultaneously, they might turn to other sources for their connection and validation. The attachment bond between child and parent can also be adversely impacted by indoctrination and belief systems, which could turn kids against their parents. So I want to go back to basics today and share some resources about attachment. Whether your teen is trans-identified, desisted, or struggling with anxiety, depression, focus, self-esteem, any parent will be able to draw from the natural wisdom of attachment theory. And stay tuned to the end because I have some advice for parents of older kids or adults. So I found my way to this book called Hold On to Your Kids by Gordon Neufeld and Gabor after it was recommended to me by two different people who didn't know each other within the same week. So I took that as a sign to read it, and I'm really glad I did. This was several years ago. This is just one of those books that you read and you think, yes, we know this in our bones, but sometimes our heads and our intellects can lead us pretty far astray. In one lecture, Neufeld, who's a developmental psychologist, discusses how to make sense of kids from an attachment and developmental perspective. He explains that new research about how to modify childhood behavior continues to pour out of labs and graduate research projects, but that sometimes researchers fail to account for the two most important aspects of childhood psychology: what children need and how nature works. I especially like his explanation for why insights about children's nature are so important. In this lecture, which I'll link below, he says, "First of all, and very important, is insight concerning the roots and meaning of a child's behavior. To be able to see beyond, to have insight, to see within the child, to make sense of a child from inside out, it's so important. To be able to read the anxious child as feeling unsafe, what to do will become much more obvious. When we read the aggressive child as frustrated and not yet had their tears about things they cannot change, we won't be tempted to increase the frustration in their life. And when we read the bossy, demanding child as in need of a strong but alpha and caring individual, we can get on with that challenge." That's from Gordon Neufeld. Now, understanding what behavior really means, as a parent, it helps you read between the lines, especially with gender. This is crucial to avoid getting stuck in a debate with your child or getting into ideological discussions or bombarding them with medical information, all of which, by the way, likely will have very little impact. Now, here's another example of why understanding attachment can be so meaningful. If you're a fan of Gender a Wider Lens, you may remember when we spoke to Rose in episode 109. Rose is the mother of two young boys, both of whom said that they were girls at some point in time. In this episode, she shares her story of affirming their female identities at first, because she truly thought this was the best way to honor their feelings and stay connected. But Rose came to believe that children need their parents to help them orient towards the truth, towards reality and limitations. In that episode, she explained her process of deep self-reflection and how learning about parent-child attachment really helped her recognize that she had been parenting based on a belief system she didn't even know she had. In fact, in that episode, she actually talks about having taken some parenting courses through the Gordon Neufeld Institute, which she felt really helped her to step into her parental authority. The second author of the book is Gabor. He's a physician who's written extensively about things like parenting, ADHD, and trauma. Now, I have to say, I vehemently disagree with much of what he believes about trauma and some stuff about ADHD. So if you come across that, do your research, take it with a grain of salt. But I still love what he produced along with Gordon Neufeld with this book, Hold On to Your Kids. It's great, and I recommend it to lots of parents in my work. Plus, I've heard back from so many of you saying that this book played an instrumental role in giving you more confidence and belief in your ability to parent your children. So, of course, in addition to books like that one, many great resources have come out for parents since I originally wrote this newsletter. And Abigail Schreier's new book, Bad Therapy, is definitely one of them. In May 2024, in my newsletter, I sing its praises, and I also share some of my criticisms of the book. You can check that out on my Substack, and I'll be sure to leave a link below. I hope parents will feel comforted in the message of attachment. It says that you are the best answer to your kids' distress. It's not easy to build up the confidence to stand strong in your role as a parent, especially if you're dealing with a gender-questioning teen. Now, of course, this is especially relevant to parents of younger teens who are still living at home. If you have an adult child and your attachment seems to be broken through estrangement or emotional distance, then I highly recommend checking out an upcoming episode of Gender a Wider Lens, where we talk with estrangement expert Joshua Coleman. His work, while he doesn't explicitly describe it this way, I think is like a roadmap for estranged parents of adult kids in how to heal their attachment relationships in very strategic, tangible, and incremental ways. If you're interested in how to apply some of these principles and understand the attachment relationship when it comes to gender questioning, I dig very deep into this in my parent membership group on Subscribestar. In July of 2021, I had a whole video all about attachment and gender identity. So please click the link below if you'd like to join and access that video on attachment as well as all my other resources there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.